hostage. Your friend already got away. Who knows who she's gonna bring back? Except when men don't find her first.
You're a monster.
To you, maybe. And I'm sorry for that. Your friend got away. And that's the only reason why you're still alive. Now, she might make it and find help. I highly doubt it. But if she does, I may need you as leverage.
She will come for us.
I'd hope she wouldn't be that stupid.
Gentlemen, the time has come once again to discuss things.
Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Geeky Gentlemen Fan Film Reviews!
Yay!
I'm Rasco, joining me here is Ian, also known as Sid Part Dos.
Yep, you racist.
There's some other information that I don't know, now Ian's gonna give it to you.
You're no fun, Rasco. Okay, the information you need to know before we start this fan film review is that you can download episodes of Geeky Gentlemen listed on the go. There's a link in the description. Download this episode. You can download old episodes by request. Just to check out the Geeky Gentlemen playlist, look for a video, and when you find a topic you're interested in, leave a comment on that episode, and I will upload it to the downloading website for you. Anyway, Rasco, what are we talking about this week?
Talking about a fan film called Croft.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a Tomb Raider fan film.
Yeah, at least in a sense. Not to go right into spoilers, but to go right into spoilers.
Good.
I hated the twist at the end.
You did?
Yeah, that really kind of just... It didn't ruin the whole thing, but it really made me go, really? Really? I did not care for the twist at the end of this. This isn't a bad fan film. I'm gonna give that impression off quite a bit that I really hated this or I think it's awful or something. And I didn't hate it. I don't think it's awful. I just did not enjoy this very much.
Really?
Yeah, how about you?
For me, it's really hard for me to talk about this fan film, critically, because I was just so, wowed by, things that I've never seen in a fan film before. There were some, stunts and fighting and just awesome shit in this. I was like, what the hell? I didn't even know that, there was anyone out there who would even try, obviously that's not true, because we have seen some fan films with some pretty ridiculous choreography and, pretty high production value. But this one, just, I don't know. I think that the technical side of this is really, really, it's the creme de la creme.
I would agree with you. The technical side, not just in the way it's shot and the, fight choreography, but, location scouting and, shot composition. And then just, Rasco, they actually had a fucking helicopter.
Yeah.
Like, that really impressed the shit. I was like, holy shit, they actually have a helicopter. And I'll agree, the fight scenes look really good. They're really, this is professional studio quality fight dynamics. The problem is, it's like, this is like a 2-minute fan film stretch out into a 20-minute fan film because of just a really, really long action scene. Mm-hmm. And I just lost interest halfway through. I was like, you can't even help do it, and maybe it's more of a commentary on me as a viewer than it is on the piece itself, but at the same time, I found myself looking at my phone, checking the old Twitter feed while that fight scene was going on. It just didn't really connect with me. Maybe it's because the stakes were just a little too low, and I mean, yeah, it sounds like a dick because there's a little girl's life on the line, but, with Tomb Raider, I'm more like, I like the bigger, kind of mystical or big on the line stuff, fate of the world kind of thing. I like the Angelina Jolie movies to a certain extent. They're not good, but I enjoy them. This just felt so bare bones, and I didn't enjoy that about it. Though obviously this based more on the reboot game than the original games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like I would have agreed with you about everything. But what kind of, I felt myself going into that kind of like glazed over viewing experience mode when I was watching this. But then there's that part where she like jumps off the cliff and lands on that guy, mm-hmm. and it like showed her let go of the cliff, and I was like, what the fuck? She just did that? I'm like, that's awesome. And so after that, they continue to show things that I've never seen handled so well in a fan film. And I don't know, like the combat was it was pretty well handled, and I wasn't expecting it. And I feel like I would agree with you if this were literally almost any other fan film we've reviewed in terms of the quality of the fighting, choreography, and editing as well. Like, I don't think we've seen something that really looked this it looked like the hits were really hitting, and it felt very physical and intense, and the sound was pretty good.
I don't have a problem with that. I just have a problem with the choice to make a 20-minute fight scene.
No, and yeah, that's the part where I think I would agree with you. Were this not a fan film where such awesome things were achieved on camera?
Okay, and that's fair. For me, it's just like, I didn't feel much investment in what was going on. You have the little girl and the guy dude's killed right away, so you know that the threat to the little girl's life is very real. But, just with Lara Croft, with the whole Tomb Raider thing, there's pyramids and ancient relics and stuff. And just this is this felt more like an 80s action movie than a Tomb Raider fan film. And I think that's, totally a justified opinion, because technically speaking, it's not really a Tomb Raider fan film. It's a fan film about Lara Croft's idol, or, I don't know, nanny, whatever she's supposed to be.
It felt like, to me, they were kind of trying to do the opening of Indiana Jones, The Last Crusade, mm-hmm. but for Lara Croft. It's not the exact same thing, but they are kind of trying to do a little bit of an inspiration thing. Like Indiana Jones, in the beginning of that movie, he's a kid, and we kind of see him piece together what will kind of become his visual identity later on in his life. And this was kind of like that, but with Lara Croft. And I don't really know how I feel about the twist. It's just kind of there, and I was not expecting it by any means. But I didn't have a problem with it like you seem to. It's just I didn't need it.
Yeah, and that's the thing for me, is I don't feel that the twist is really justified by anything that happens in the story. It's just a last minute, oh, that wasn't really Lara Croft you just watched.
I will say that I kind of like it because I don't like the whole what I don't like in fan films where they try to do the big, like we had this with City of Scars where they kind of try to do like the final Joker Batman showdown, and if it wasn't that, the scale of that fan film like would work totally. It's just that like that is too big of a story for the scale that that fan film was on, and I would feel the same way about this if this is actually supposed to be how she dies.
And see, I wasn't expecting her to be dead. I expected her to survive that final encounter, falling off the cliff, or I expected her, be on the edge of the cliff, or to see the little girl dragging her to the helicopter, or something like that. And in the end, you don't get that. You get, it's Lara Croft's the little girl. And I don't know, man. Just like, even that origin, if this is the origin of Lara Croft, I don't like that as a Lara Croft origin. I don't know too much about, like, the character's history or anything, so I'm certainly not anyone to judge.
I'd probably know even less.
Yeah. I don't know, just like, don't you feel that maybe that's just because I like the persona of the character before the reboot. I don't care too much for the persona of the character in the new franchise. I like the really cocky, overconfident, borderline superhero persona of Lara Croft. This just doesn't feel like that kind of a character is going to come out of that. I don't know, like, alright, so what is this little girl's motivation now to become Lara Croft?
Yeah, I think that's where the problems kind of exist, because I don't really know what she would get out of this, because to me it kind of seems like this is like a superhero origin. Mm-hmm. Like, this woman just bravely fought off 20 mercenaries to save me. I'm inspired. I'm going to do the same. But that's not really Lara Croft. That's kind of in the vein of like Rambo or something. Like, it's not very, like, I don't think that this would work as an Indiana Jones origin, in the sense that, like, I don't think that he would want to grow up to be an archaeologist at the end of some experience like this. Mm-hmm. And I feel like if it doesn't work for Indiana Jones, it probably doesn't work for Lara Croft. Not that they're the same character or anything, but just that they're the same kind of hero. It's like more about the adventure than being like an actual, like, I'm going to go out and save people's lives type of thing, Yeah,
and like the thing is, you watch in the related videos for this, you have the Bat and the Sun superpower beatdown between Nathan Drake and Lara Croft, and they do the the classic version of Lara Croft. And first of all, let me just say, I can't believe that we're at a point where video game characters from the 90s now have classic versions. But you have the classic version of Lara Croft in that, and like she and Nathan Drake fight, and then she she steals a thing from Nathan Drake and jumps off a cliff and paraglides down in just this completely over-the-top but awesome way. And Nathan Drake looks at her and goes, I think I'm in love. Like, that's how I feel about Lara Croft. She's just got such an awesome factor. And this has kind of like a realism factor that doesn't quite mesh with that. And maybe that's just me on a personal level. I don't know. But regardless of all that, you call your thing Croft a fan film. It's not really about Lara Croft, because you're following, to name the character Hero in the credits, give us no information on who this person was besides Hero and our friend. I don't know, that was really underwhelming for me. And I think that was my biggest problem with it, besides just the fact that I got kind of... Maybe it's just I'm spoiled by good Hollywood effects that I didn't... I will certainly acknowledge that there's some really impressive stunt work in this, but I wasn't wowed by it just because I'm used to impressive stunt work. I don't know. Maybe I'm a little unfair on this because of that, then.
Yeah, it's weird because the thing that you most frequently see in fan films is that they'll do their best, and when something is not quite at this level but is above very terrible fight choreography, then you'll notice it because it feels like a fan film. I think it's like you're watching this and it's on the technical side, it's really proficient, and you're like, wow, it's not even like trying to hide things. It's just like doing a fight scene. Normally you would be able to show someone like letting go of a cliff like that. You just show like she landed on him. You wouldn't show like I'm jumping off a cliff. And she does like a few different stunts like that where you're like, what the hell? That's awesome. And it's almost like you forget that you're watching a fan film, and so you may not realize it, and it may just kind of underwhelm you. But for me, it was just like I was just watching it, and I was like, oh, this is probably just going to be like one of those fan films where it kind of feels like a scene of a movie. It's not really like a full story in itself. But watching this, as soon as that happened, where she jumps off that cliff, I was just like, holy shit. I forgot I was watching a fan film for a moment. So I was like, that was crazy.
Yeah, and I'm re-looking at that scene, and the only way you could do that is with a wire team. That's the only way you could do a shot like that.
Unless she just really did it.
I mean, that'd be some Jackie Chan shit right there.
Yeah, it would.
Like, there's another thing. It's a Throwback Studios fan film, so I'm a little nervous about it. But I'm going to add it to my watch later. It's in the related videos. It's called Tomb Raider Book of the Dead fan film. And I don't know, just other things about that look like it could interest me more. But I will agree that the technical side of this is incredibly impressive, and it's hard to think of it like a fan film when you just look at the visuals of this. Like, you could make a fan trailer out of this and have a trailer that actually fools people into thinking there's a new Lara Croft movie. Again, it's more the other stuff surrounding it, I think, than the fight choreography itself, because I'll agree with you all day that it's very, very good quality, very high proficiency fight choreography, and it's shot really well. The shot that I liked a lot more was when she was like, the henchman was in the foreground and she was running from the background, did like a leap at him before he could turn around. And like they cut it, and I know exactly what they did. She leaped and she went as far as she could and just landed, and then they cut it in such a way that it made it look like she made the complete jump. You can kind of tell just because you can clearly see she doesn't have enough momentum to get the rest of the way there. But it still looked really, really dynamic, really, really cool action scene. I would maybe say it should have been cut a couple seconds earlier, or maybe not put in such... Like, I think they slowed it down. But, no, I don't have much to say about the fight choreography. It was good. My problem with the fight choreography is, like, it was too much. There isn't enough meat for me to care. It's like the Transformers movies. Like, yeah, the explosions and the CGI and the robots and everything looks really cool. I just don't care because I'm not invested in anybody. We get no development for this, proto Lara Croft character. We get very little understanding of what's going on besides that it's important to these bad guys to the point where they're willing to kill people. I don't know. There's just there's like such a low bar of stakes here that I'm not really invested in anything. And there's like you would agree with me. There's not really any character development here, right? There's no arcs or anything like that.
Yeah, not really for the most part. I mean, the only thing you could say is, like, Lara Croft became inspired to be what we know she'll go on to be, but that's about it. I mean, like, you're right, there is no character, really, for who we presume to be Lara Croft for a majority of the fan film. And again, it's one of those things where I think I'm kind of at this place where we've talked about in the past, like, there's two different kinds of fan films. There's the ones that kind of treat themselves like a complete piece, and that's like the Static Shock fan film. And it's very much like an actual short film. Then there are ones that kind of just feel like scenes. Like, this feels like it could have been the finale of a longer, like, hour-long fan film.
Yeah.
And it would work better in that context because I feel it's hard to get emotionally invested the same way and something like this, where it is just kind of like it feels like the conclusion to a longer piece. And my the biggest problem with doing that is that ultimately it's hard to say anything more than it was just cool.
Yes, exactly. Like, there's no denying that it is a cool thing to look at, that it is visually interesting and well shot, and it shows a lot of competency. Like, the trailer for this that we played at the beginning of this episode has awards shown in it. And I always say this, showing off awards means you are bragging. And this got like an award for best acting, or best action scene, or best action, best directed, blah blah. And like, yeah, I certainly agree. But I don't know, like, I want more, and usually that's a good thing. But here I feel like it's more a critique on a lack of substance,
Which is pretty fair. I will say this. Acting was much better than most of the fan films we reviewed. I'm not saying it was like phenomenal, but I mean it was more than serviceable, I think.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. It's definitely a step above serviceable, but I don't know, like, some of the acting was just a little... It felt like, good extras in movies, if that makes sense. It felt like a good, nameless character in a movie kind of thing. Rasco, are they coming for you? Are the cops coming for you?
No, there's an ambulance.
Professionalism here on YouTube. No, but like, there's the acting I thought was pretty okay. I've seen better acting in fan films, to be honest. Like, significantly better acting in fan films.
Yeah, I mean, it's really weird. I'm trying to think back. I want to like make a list of like the best performances we've had in fan films.
We could do that. I wonder like how many of these we've done, and then we could do like for how like our 100th fan film review or whatever. We could do a list video. That'd be fun.
Yeah, we do like whole awards ceremony. Yeah, I'm not saying that the acting was like phenomenal and that there's anyone that like stuck out as like, whoa, that person's going places. I'm not saying they're not going places. I don't want to be that asshole. I'm just saying like it was for me. There's like, okay, as long as I don't really pay attention to the acting, I'm fine with it. It's like it's better than that. I mean, you can take it seriously.
Yeah, and like I think the thing is, there are 5 actors, right? Like 5 actual actors where they had more than one line.
Yeah, there was like the leader of the mercenaries, who I thought was the best actor.
Well, he has the
then
most
there
dialogue.
was yeah. Then there was Laura, and then I think was that supposed to be her dad that he shot?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know either. And then there's not Laura, and then there's the big strong guy that beats her up.
Yeah, and then
there's just a bunch of guys that
yeah, then there's all the mercenaries, and they have like one line at best. Then there's the helicopter guy, and he has 2-3 lines. So like, I'll agree the acting from the main cast is really good, but that's just, I think, good decision making on casting. These are like actors who know what they're doing. And so that it's very effective casting. I don't know, man. I feel like I'm being really sour on this, and I'll say it's not a bad fan film. It's not my Lara Croft, I guess, and I don't have much room to talk about that because I'm not a big Lara Croft fan. I just have this weird, like, yeah, it was good, but I really feel like it could have been much better kind of feeling with this, and I don't know, maybe that's unfair.
It is unfair. Take it back.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm curious to see if the creators of this one get back to us, because I'd be curious to see what they would have to say about the lack of like actual, meaty story as opposed to just general scenario, right?
Yeah. That's just it's just a thing where sometimes and it's weird because this is one where I can't really tell what they were necessarily, what their stance on what I'm about to say is, but I feel like there are some fan films we watch where it's kind of just like a fan film that is there to be a vehicle for someone to show off their like direction
Oh,
skills.
definitely.
We've seen that in the past with some fan films, but this one is like, I don't know if they actually set out to do that, but I mean they showed off well. It doesn't look bad. It looks really good. I'm just saying, like, I feel like there are some fan films where it's more of I'm a writer and I'm writing a story that's like the complete piece. And again, I always go back to the Static Shock because I think that's the most emblematic of this. It's that is like someone sat down and they had themes that they wanted to make sure were constant all the way through, and it comes together in the end thematically. And this one, I couldn't really point to a theme.
Guy gets shot. Yeah, it's not a well written fan film, but it's a well shot fan film, and for what it is, that's what you need. Like even the dialogue exchange between, you know, Laura and the bad guy. I'm not bait, I'm a person. That would have been the point to cut it off. Like, that scene is way overwritten. When she says, I'm not bait, I'm a person, that's all you need. Like, that he comes back and they keep going, so unnecessary. Like, that was a great line, and then there's like, okay, now I'm gonna keep adding dialogue. No, cut right there.
I do kind of agree. It felt like one of those things where it's really cool to have things happening on screen while someone's having another conversation that kind of acts as narration for what's happening, even though it's not really narrating anything. That's just like a thing we think is really cool ever since the ending of The Dark Knight. We like to just have someone doing something epic and then someone else having a conversation with somebody, and you kind of play it over the fight scene or whatever's happening. And it can be cool. Right there, it felt though that that's like what they were really trying to do. And I do agree that was probably a little overwritten.
Yeah, it just goes on too long because you don't like that line. I'm a person. I'm not bait. That's all you need. That's a damn good line. And that if that had been the last you heard of her until the end, that'd have been great. Like if he'd knocked her out after that point, ooh, that would have been great. But the fact that she's like still awake and she's like making fun of him, did not like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's about all I've really got to say about this. I'm really stretching for things to talk about, but I just thought it was well done, but not my cup of tea. Yeah. How about you, Rasco? Any lingering thoughts?
I'll just say, this is one of those fan films where it does so many other things correctly that we typically would fill up an entire episode going in depth with all the technical aspects that could have been handled better. We did that with the last fan film, I think. Mm-hmm. We had a lot to say about that, but I mean, when you can get past all of that and just be critical of a story, just of the fan film on a story level, I mean, that does say something about the quality of the technical aspects of the fan film. So it did get a lot of things right that we normally could spend a whole episode talking about. So we really just do have to talk about the story, and ultimately that's probably the weakest aspect. So that's all I really have to say.
Okay, what would you rate this fan film?
I'm gonna give this one just because of how just visually pleasing this fan film is. I'm gonna give it a 3.5 out of 5.
3.5 out of 5.
Ice picks to the face.
Damn it, you stole mine. Okay. Yeah, I actually completely agree with you. The visuals on this are absolutely stunning. I just wish that there was more story there to really back it up. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a 3.5 out of 5 cliff jumps. Cool.
One of my favorite Transformers.
Cliff jumps?
Cliff Jumper.
Is that an actual thing, or are you messing with me?
There's a Transformer named Cliff Jumper.
Wow. Can't.
He's actually just Red Bumblebee.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, the world is an interesting place. All right, I pulled a Rasco, people. I pulled a Rasco. I forgot to look up a fan film. Let's see here. What do we got? This is a long ass one, and I have not had any chance to look through it, so I'm not going to pick that. I don't know. I don't want to do Star Wars. We've done too much Star Wars. Okay, we're going to do an 8-minute audio drama and see how this works out, because being that I'm working on a fan-made audio drama, I want to check out the competition on audio dramas, fan-made audio dramas. So we're going to do Dexter Listen Part 1, or however many parts there are. A fan-made audio drama. And this person is most definitely going to be aware, because this video has less than 250 views. So when I leave a comment and he gets a view boost with his one subscriber, he is going to be like, wait, what? Oh, there's only one part. So this should be interesting. We're going to review an incomplete audio drama series. Oh, good. That's...
I'm going to need a link to this.
Only about 8 minutes. No, no. If there's only one part, I don't want to do that. Okay, screw it. I'm gonna commit to 2 hours of something. We're gonna review Skull Island, the place of your nightmares, King Kong audio drama.
Oh god. I mean, I'm excited for the King Kong factor, but oh god.
Yeah, we'll see how this goes. 2 hours might look like it's gonna get a little old. Oh my. Let me check this one out. It's got 4 likes, 0 dislikes, no comments, 369 views. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. They have an Inception audio drama.
That's gotta be a confusing one to listen to.
Okay, yeah, we'll do King Kong. 2.5 hours of King Kong. Oh my. Alright, everyone. Stay tuned for that one. Until next time, I'm the Philosopher.
I'm the Beta Male Cuck.
And we are your geeky gentlemen. And we will be discussing things.